The evidence of mysterious inscriptions and encodings within the pyramids points to the purpose of elevating human consciousness and stimulating evolution. We investigate the existence of pyramids in Antarctica, as well as their possible connection with the Atlantean civilization. The pressing question is, who in the world travels to Antarctica? The cold there is crazy. Dolores Cannon will provide some information after many sessions with her clients under hypnosis. They achieved a whole new level of information. And that's the kind of wisdom I bring to the table today. All of this, combined with the information encoded in Da Vinci's works, suggests hidden knowledge about these ancient civilizations. But first, who was this Dolores? She was a hypnotherapist who traveled through the human mind, unraveling mysteries deeper than a black hole. Do you know that moment when you're trying to put together a puzzle and suddenly everything fits together? Well, Dolores is kind of like that, but on a much larger scale. She is known for her innovative approach to solving complex problems, which has led her to write several successful books. But what really sets Cannon apart is her passion for exploring the limits of human knowledge. She's not afraid to expose complicated subjects like sacred geometry and string theory, trying to find hidden patterns and meanings. Cannon was always curious and didn't want to limit herself to a single area of study. She was interested in various subjects. But here's a question for you. If you could talk to Cannon, what would you want to talk about? Could it be your intriguing theories about ancient civilizations, or perhaps your past lives, UFOs, or reincarnation? Share what you want from her wisdom in the comments. So, please just take a minute, because the video will get even better. Despite recent technological advances, there is a lot of evidence that ancient civilizations, such as Atlantis, possessed advanced knowledge. In the last 150 years, we have made big progress in the technological industry, but for thousands of years, we have not been able to reach the same level. There is a theory that Atlantis possessed even better technology than we know today, and that some of its priests escaped to different parts of the world, such as Egypt, India, and Central America. If someone with such power went to a community without technology, they would be considered a god or mystic. Numerous global explorations have observed this phenomenon. Several historical, cultural, and psychological factors contribute to the natives' belief that explorers were deities. In many cases, indigenous peoples had no prior contact with foreign cultures and therefore had no points of reference to understand the technologies, different clothing, and behaviors of the explorers. When you think about that, it is important to consider that many indigenous societies had religious beliefs that included the idea of deities or higher beings who could take on human forms. Therefore, when explorers arrived, displaying unknown skills and strange electrical machines, the natives often interpreted this as proof of their divinity or connection to the gods. And at this point, that's where Dolores comes in. She not only believed that there are other civilizations, but she proved it in thousands of channelings of the past live with her clients, and that's shocking. Another aspect to be considered is the power of propaganda and myth. Explorers often sought to establish friendly relations with indigenous peoples. The perception that explorers are deities could serve their interests by easing commercial or political discussions. By attributing superhuman powers to foreigners, natives could feel more comfortable with their presence and less threatened. A lack of understanding about foreign cultures, pre-existing religious beliefs, explorers' public relations strategies, and the psychological need to cope with the unknown all contributed to the natives' beliefs. When Hernán Cortés and his men first arrived in Mexico in 1519, the Aztecs, attracted by their armor, horses, and weapons, initially greeted them with curiosity. The Aztecs, who had a strong religious tradition, believed that the foreigners were either God's messengers or even the gods themselves. This facilitated Cortés' entry into the Aztec capital, Tenochtitlan, and his subsequent conquest of the empire. Similarly, the Incas welcomed Francisco Pizarro and his men as deities. The Incas, who also had a complex religion and a reverence for deities, viewed the Spanish as supernatural beings. This was primarily due to their use of horses and fire-powered weapons. This belief contributed to the capture of the Inca Emperor Atahualpa and the subsequent fall of the Inca Empire. When James Cook arrived in Hawaii in 1778, the native Hawaiians were impressed with his ships and technology. Initially, the Hawaiians received Cook well, even treating him as a god. However, over time, relations deteriorated due to cultural misunderstandings and territorial disputes. Solid evidence suggests that a centralized plan guided the construction of the Egyptian pyramids. This refutes the claim that their construction spanned over a century. And again, it supports Dolores's belief. It's like we always say here on the channel, school and college don't teach reality. The books and other materials they provide are not as good and may not be as up-to-date. The book, Conversations with Nostradamus, Volume 3, is available. In this book, Cannon uses his regressive hypnosis ability to delve into the mysteries of the Renaissance prophet, uncovering surprising insights into alien civilizations and his interactions with humanity over the centuries. Get ready for discoveries that will make you wonder, did this happen in my neighborhood? The Custodians. Beyond Abduction is another book that will make you jump out of your seat. But please don't take it literally because it's dangerous. Dolores has kicked the door on the accounts of individuals who assert abduction by extraterrestrial entities used by beings from another world. But wait a minute. It's not just the typical abduction report you hear out there. She goes beyond the scary stories and takes us into territory to gain a better understanding of the purpose of these encounters and the role of the guardians behind them. They are really different things. Those who go to the video description can get the book, but I don't recommend you do that unless you are very strong. Reading these books challenges your preconceived notions about extraterrestrial encounters. The design of Metatron's cube served as the foundation for the construction of the pyramids in Giza. Orion's belt served as the basis for the simultaneous construction of all three pyramids. This refutes the notion that financial constraints led to the construction of the pyramids at different times. It's a joke, right? Look at the kinds of lies they tell. Would there be a lack of money in Egypt for that? They held the belief that the pyramids had the power to elevate consciousness and expand human perspective. Through the process of unlocking the secrets of the pyramids, it is possible to increase perspective and awareness. All over the world, concerns exist regarding the preservation of the pyramids' knowledge for future generations. The collective consciousness and cyclicality have made gold popular, while the timeline of human history continues to advance. In other words, gold became popular because of this. There is evidence that it may have a cycle spanning 20,000 to 30,000 years. This ultimately contradicts the central tenet of the narrative. Da Vinci's paintings contain encrypted information about his mother and her connection to the Circassian Sultanate. So much so that his mother was allegedly a slave who gained her freedom. During Da Vinci's time, the Circassian Sultanate ruled over Egypt and Syria, and they hired him to assist in the reconstruction of Cairo, and Da Vinci's mother would have encrypted all this information in a letter to the Sultanate. I will soon elucidate his connection to Dolores. For now, I'll explain it quickly with a simple story that any idiot would understand. In other words, as the current President of the United States would understand. But calm down, Biden. I still like you. Once upon a time, in a faraway land in the beautiful Caucasus Mountains, there lived a people called the Circassians. They were brave, strong, and loved to dance and sing around big fires. One day, the Circassians decided to unite and form their own country, called the Circassian Sultanate. They chose a very special leader, called a sultan, to rule with wisdom and justice. In this place, people were very happy. They cultivated their lands, traded goods, and told moving stories about their battles against powerful enemies. But not everything was a fairy tale. The Circassians had to fight many times against other countries that wanted to invade their lands. They defended their sultanate with great courage and determination. Unfortunately, one day, a large army from the Russian Empire arrived and began attacking the city. Despite their bravery, the Russians ultimately defeated them. Many Circassians had to leave their homes and flee to other lands in search of safety. They took with them their songs, dances, and stories, keeping the memory alive. Today, the descendants of the Circassians continue to honor their traditions and culture, keeping alive the memory and the courage of their ancestors. And so, the story of the Circassians lives forever, told from generation to generation. How does this all tie back to canon and her theories and sessions? Imagine an ancient Circassian legend that tells about a mysterious cosmic artifact lost in the Caucasus Mountains during the Sultanate's reign. People claim that this artifact, known as the Key to the Stars, has the ability to scale realities and open portals to other worlds. Dolores, in her explorations, discovered the existence of this legend and became fascinated by the possibility that it could be more than just a story. She sets out to investigate further by conducting regressions on people with ancestral connections to the Circassian Sultanate. In one of his hypnosis sessions, a soul reveals surprising details about the truth behind the legend of the Key to the Stars. She discovers that visitors from other worlds left the artifact as an extraterrestrial relic long before the Sultanate's rise. The ancient leaders of the Sultanate, with their wisdom and intuition, realized the power and importance of this artifact and protected it for generations. When Dolores learns that this relic and her interactions with extraterrestrial beings had a significant influence on many of the spiritual and philosophical teachings passed down through Circassian generations, the connection between the Circassian Sultanate and her teachings becomes obvious. Thus, using the legend of the Key to the Stars becomes a powerful metaphor to talk about canon's teachings. Other than that, there are a few more people who believe that Antarctica may have pyramids and that it was once the legendary Atlantis or Lemuria. Dolores, in a session with one of her patients, had a clear idea of what Lemuria was. Once upon a time, in a very distant time, when the world was covered by blue oceans and vast green forests, there existed a mysterious land called Lemuria. It was a place of incomparable beauty, with imposing mountains, stunning waterfalls, and magical creatures. The Lemurians were a very special group of people. They were known for their connection with nature and their magical powers. The Lemurians lovingly cared for all the plants and animals around them, living in harmony with the world around them. One day, a great catastrophe struck Lemuria. Violent earthquakes and volcanic eruptions shook the land, while the ocean swallowed large parts of the island. The Lemurians, with their magical powers, tried to protect their lands, but the disaster was too great. As Lemuria sank into the ocean's depths, the Lemurians had to flee to other lands in search of safety. They carried with them the memory of their lost land and its ancient stories of greatness. Today, many people around the world still believe in the existence of Lemuria and its rich culture. Some claim that brave adventurers are still hiding the ruins of Lemuria beneath the ocean waves. There are also theories that Antarctica was once part of a continent called Pangaea. There is a belief that the Earth's expansion caused the continents to separate, just as the universe is expanding. Some people continue to hold the belief that Antarctica could have been the fabled Atlantis or Lemuria, and that they can locate the pyramids beneath the ice. But you? What do you believe? Yes, this topic is undoubtedly an inexhaustible source of speculation, crazy theories, and of course, those intriguing UFO images that make us scratch our heads and ask ourselves, do they come for a cup of sugar or just to have a look? In the cosmic neighborhood. Well, if these civilizations really exist, and who knows, maybe they're even closer than we think, we could have a series of exciting events ahead. Just imagine first contact. Will they say a friendly hi to us? Or will it be more like an intergalactic version of hot potato, where they quickly pass by, nod, and speed away. What if these aliens are super advanced? Do you know what many people say about zombies? It's like that, but worse because they are extraterrestrials. Like things beyond our time? They could have incredible technologies that would make our smartphones look like chipped stones. Serious question. Do they have intergalactic Wi-Fi? If they have intergalactic Wi-Fi, I'm prepared for a cosmic upgrade. Of course, there's also the possibility that not all aliens are E.T. the alien types, with hearts of gold and glowing fingers. Who knows? We might have to deal with some scary aliens eating popcorn while watching our sci-fi movies and thinking, these humans have such interesting imaginations. What if we start doing cultural exchanges with them? For example, could we exchange interplanetary food recipes and learn alien dances? It would be like a cosmic slumber party. The only question would be, do aliens have musical tastes as exotic as their appearance? Well, while we wait for the big day of first contact, we can have fun thinking about all these things. And of course, subscribe to a certain YouTube channel that talks about this.